Hello. Welcome back to After 5 at Jumix. This is a new episode, and this episode we have Deanna here and also
Sanz still here. Hello, everybody.
So today we are going to talk about
the terrifying fake news.
Yeah, that's our title. We actually can't really think of the right title, but
there's so many things to talk about fake news.
Yeah, but generally it's very terrifying. So we went with the terrifying fake news. We were inspired to talk about this topic because of the coronavirus. I'm sure, everyone out there, you are pretty well aware that there's this epidemic and it's spreading very quickly. There's a lot of people, being affected. And of course, with this, a lot of people want attention from the coronavirus news. And that is where, the fake news would come. And today, for me, I've seen a lot of fake news being spread in this small little island in Penang, saying that there are people affected by this and they are in Rich Hospital. And this causes a lot of impacts actually that we don't usually think about, I guess. And today we should really understand this, that fake news is a big no.
Yes, I think so, because you see, previously we don't have this kind of fake news stuff. We just have news in general, because we don't have like true news, fake news. Who is going to be the one that identify these things, right? Because with the internet expanding so quickly, we can share information so easily. It's just within a few mouse click or few finger touches, and we have the news shared everywhere, and things go viral easily.
Yeah, I think people really take freedom of the press for granted. I mean, it's very convenient for anyone to create, but who knows whether is it reliable, is it verified, is it true? But we all understand that people just want to put some attention on social media or whatever. Like today, in the world today, it's more about social media more than journalism, because people are taking social media news more seriously than the real news that are in journalism, causing people in journalism to actually write more clickbaity titles, which I feel is really not their bad as well, because they're trying to get the attention against so many, very intriguing topics in social media.
Yes, because there's only so many time in a person day to read about things and read about news, and all the medias, even the mainstream media, is going into social media nowadays to get the attention of people. So they are competing for the space of the social media to grab attention. So the headlines need to be very attractive. And this tends to, mislead the reader. They saw something interesting on the title, then they just want to click on it.
Yeah, I think it brings to a lot of impacts towards the readers and users on social media. Like I would say, the biggest impact right now for the coronavirus being, fake news being spread is people get too fearful for this virus and they start hoarding over face masks, buying a lot of hand sanitizers. And speaking about this, hand sanitizers cannot prevent you from the virus. So do not try to hoard this kind of sanitizers. Wash your hands with better hand soap rather than sanitizers, because it doesn't work 100%. But going back to the topic, I think people get too fearful to protect themselves and not thinking that everyone is facing this together. It's not about just one person, not about you and just the people around you. It's about, the whole world going through this. So let's speak about the impacts about fake news.
I think let's take a look about how fake news start to spread. Firstly, I think people do not know whether it's a fake news or real news. So when it starts spreading, it's actually just news. But after people validate the things, then we know it's a fake news or real news. And we need to look at why people are sharing it and how people are actually sharing it. What do you think about why people would want to share a fake news? Because of the interesting title, because of they think they can relate to something like that?
I guess it really depends on certain individuals. Like I would say, for people who tend to share more fake news would be the elderly, or I would say people that are maybe our parents, because they are just generally very afraid that their kids or people out there, they are facing something that is bad. So they are trying to give a precaution. So actually their motive is pretty positive, just that they do not know how to verify whether is it real news to share, is it worthy news to share. And I think later on we will be sharing on how to actually verify whether it's news worthy or not. And it's a very simple step which which you can share with your parents, your friends, or anyone at all that are on social media, because stopping, or giving awareness on how to verify news is a very good way for everyone.
I don't think anyone would want to share fake news intentionally unless you are really a media who's just looking for attention and you want the money for the clicks, right?
For the
so
attention,
the elderly are very prone to this kind of fake news. They do not know the steps, or they do not know the people behind that sharing the news. Their intention, of course, like you say, is very positive. They just want people to know about it. They want to prevent bad things from happening. But sometimes because of this kind of fake news, they actually are the one that created the panic.
I could see that from this point of view, it's not only for the people who are sharing it, but also for platforms that are available for you to share news. Like, for example, Facebook. Like, if Facebook is a very main place for people to share fake news, the responsibility should be put on both sides, even for Facebook themselves. They have to find out ways on how to really stop this fake news from, spreading out wide. Although I do see that people, they are trying to have this report fake news things, but the first thing still comes to how do you verify whether is it fake news or not.
Yes, I think Facebook taken a lot of initiative ever since the scandal they had back in, I think, 2 to 3 years ago during the US election.
Yeah.
People accused Facebook of supporting fake news of the President Trump, right?
Yeah.
So afterwards, they actually take action, tweaking their algorithm, tweaking their teams, improving the mechanics on how they tackle fake news. But I think these are more focused on the political part. They are still doing a lot of efforts in tackling some other things, but I think this shouldn't be just the responsibility of Facebook. Facebook and also the user must work together to come up with a solution or a method that can really exterminate this kind of fake news.
Yeah, I would say the easiest way for me is this thing that I've just recently, created myself. It is actually a 2-step kind of method to verify whether is it fake news. It's EV. When you say easy, it's actually EV, okay?
Okay.
E for England, V for Victoria, okay? EV. E is emotion. Second one is V is verify. So whenever you read anything that agitates your emotion, is usually something that is fake, because news or journalists won't write, articles that are meant to agitate your emotions too much. If you get too afraid, if you get too angry, you get too happy. Like, for example, if you get too happy, congratulations, you won 1 million ringgit. Please click this. You see, this is fake. If you get too agitated, 1 million people just died, blah, 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 blah. And then that is getting you very agitated as well. And if you get too sad, it's also something, it always involves in being too agitated, because that is how it attracts your attention. So first thing is to check your emotions after reading a post or news. The second one, how to verify. Once you feel too agitated, it might be true. But how you are supposed to verify it is going through Google and searching for more, for more sources or for more articles that are related to this case that you're reading about. So there's these 2 things to read. And I think there are also a lot of websites that I think Sanz has a very reliable source on how to check whether is the article a quality article or not.
I think the tricky part is that some legit media or legit channel, they're actually using clickbaity titles as well, which means whatever you said just now, the news might be true, but because they want people to click on it, they use this kind of method and headlines that attract people to click. But when you go inside, the content is actually true. So this actually created a very messy and terrible situation where people were just competing for the clicks, competing for the attention, and people just read. Sometimes people just read the headlines and they do not go inside and read the whole story. So when the legitimate media reporting some true story but using a clickbait headlines, that creates the chaos.
So are you saying that the more legitimate media should be, gaining trust? Not by...
Yes, I think they should have stick to their professionalism by writing a true, legit, and a more formal kind of headlines instead of those clickbaity kind of headlines. So if let's say you are not dealing with the popular or mainstream media, you need to verify the source, which means you need to go inside the website and see a few elements to make sure that they are the legitimate one. So here's a few criteria that you can go through in order to validate the authenticity of the news and also the source. first you can look at the domain name. The domain name, which means like the star.com, or is it the star.ru or the star.co? You know, .ru is actually stands for Russian. So, and .co is for, I think, Colombia. Yeah, so you need to make sure whether is it the star in Russia or in other countries. So because those kind of fake news website, they like to use the popular mainstream media name and they put it in another domain extension.
And it's very tricky because it's very small.
They will design the website almost exactly same like the actual one. So you need to pay attention to the domain. And the second one, you need to go through the other content inside the website as well. Don't just look at the one news. Browse through the website and see whether it have a lot of, you know, those kind of celebrities, news, or a lot of sexy pictures or topics related about sex.
Yeah, usually that's very dodgy.
Yeah, because people like to click on those kind of news.
Yeah.
So yeah, those websites are built for clicks. Okay, or is there any news that is too good to be true? Like what Deanna mentioned just now, you just won 5 million, or congratulations, you are the 2,000 visitors to this website today.
This is a classic. Yeah.
Yes, this is the classic. And also check the author profile. After you read the articles, usually they will put the editors or the author of the articles. You need to identify who is the author. If it's dodgy, then most of the time they don't write any names there, or they just write editor, the admin. This kind of author usually is not so trustable. Because if you look at the mainstream media, like what we have here in Malaysia is like the Star, New Straits Times, they have the author names in the bottom of the articles. Afterwards, you can also check on the, you know, the grammar, the English quality of the content. The mainstream media, they will definitely hire people who have good standard of English and skill in copywriting, so they'll definitely write good quality articles.
But this one is hard to say. Like usually if the elderlies, they don't really know, they would think that everything on the media or social media, it's legitimate. So I think there are also other ways, like we really have to educate or even let them know how to verify.
As a younger generation, we need to educate our older parents that not everything in the internet is true.
Well, of course,
in
not
fact, some
all...
of the youngsters also believe everything in the internet is
exactly.
true.
Not all parents. Okay, I'm not trying to, you know, direct this to my parents or whatever, but I do realize that, you know, on WhatsApp, they like to forward a lot. Yeah, one thing on this, when your parents forward you any messages, usually you have to check, is it, you know, real or not for them, because they might not know. Usually forwarded messages on WhatsApp are the fake news. If you,
Yes.
I'm not too sure whether have you experienced that before.
Yes, I think WhatsApp, WeChat tends to have a lot of fake news circulation. It's just like email forwarding back in 1990s.
Exactly, yeah, I did. And the funniest part is, for email forwarding past in the 90s or whatever, you can see it still in the 20s. Like in the 21st century, you will see that they are still, you know, circulating this news around. And it's very bad. Like you just have to put a stop on it.
Yes, because this will bring a lot of harm to our life, to everyone. So for example, last few days, we have this kind of fake news circulating in Penang, saying that the coronavirus is spreading
in Penang, and there's like
but then
victim.
It was then invalidated by the government.
Yeah. I think
and people start to panic in Penang, and they start buying and hoarding all the face masks and sanitizer.
And even today, my colleague just shared that they are selling hand sanitizers for 80 ringgit per bottle, per small, like 100 ml or 180 ml bottle of hand sanitizer. I think that's like absurd.
That's terrible, because they take this opportunity to jack up their prices. So, but I think it's illegal, right?
It is illegal, of course. Like, the thing about this is demand and supply. When people are really demanding for this kind of things, especially when it involves, you know, saving your life, of course, you would pay any amount to go and buy.
And this is the side effect of
snowball effect,
Yeah, the fake news. Because without this news, people will not go and hoard all the face masks and all the sanitizers. And it won't create a situation where there's more demand than supply.
I really agree with that. And with the virus being, I think it's declared a global emergency today. And I think with this going on, it's not for us to actually spread all those kind of negative news and knowing whether how many deaths there are here and there. More like we should make our preventions even more clear.
Yes, we should work together as a human being and not discriminate anyone. And especially when you are sharing news, you need to make sure and take like 10 minutes of your time to verify the news first before you're spreading. Because it's not going to help anyone if you just keep spreading panic. People will start to panic, be nervous, and then start doing things that you don't expect them to do.
Yeah, I even read a lot of comments saying that the Chinese should go back to China and things like that. And it's pretty, I would say it's pretty foolish, because that media is actually from America, and they are saying that they are American Chinese, and they are asking them to go back to China. It doesn't make sense at all, right? I don't know why people would like to, say things like that.
And it's just going to make things worse. You have this virus, now you want to do the discrimination, you're going to start a war or something.
Yeah, it's a war abomination. Yesterday I told Sanz that actually, I think fake news can affect anyone in a very, very negative way. So
your responsibility before sharing a news is actually to do a fact check and put, key in the subject or the topics of the news into this kind of website where they will do a fact check on whether your news is a real one or a fake one. So here are some of the website. The first one is Media Bias. The second one is Snoops, SNOPES. Third one is PolitiFact. This one is more to political news. The fourth one is factcheck.org. And the last one is Lead Stories.
All right. Since the coronavirus is still at a rise today, and we foresee that this fake news will still be going, very haywire on social media and other media networks, we would like to advise people going through this website called coronatracker.com. It is a website created by Dr. Lau Shehan. So Corona Tracker is a community-based project that collects data from across the world that combines news articles from trusted sources. So all this news that are shared, and even the number of infected cases on this website, is all verified by data scientists and professionals. Even medical professionals are in there, UX, UI designers. They are all volunteers that are helping to run this website. So for you to be able to get real news, you can go to this website to really read about the virus.
Yes, I think this is a very good initiative by this doctor to aggregate only legitimate news and put it together for people who just want to read about true news. And I think that there should be more people like him to create stuff like this, so we can have less fake news going on and more real news going out.
So we are keeping our fingers crossed and also praying for this virus to stop spreading, and hopefully everyone that is infected will be cured. So with this episode, we are hoping that you don't give fake news a life. And with whatever that we shared today, if you have any ways to stop fake news from spreading in your own ways, please leave it in the comment below, and follow us on our social media networks. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and everywhere possible. You could find us with the name aliasjumix.com.my. So with that, I am Deanna, and I'm going to end this episode with Sanz.
And this is Sanz Deal signing out.
Bye.
Bye-bye.